When it came to cooking, my dad always found ways as to how to make his techniques more convenient for him. One of the skills that he showed me an easier way for my daily life is mincing. I will go over the brief history of this skill, the materials needed, and then give an easy demonstration as to how to use it in your daily life. First, I will give some background knowledge on the technique of mincing. First, wisegeek.com says, in the kitchen, mincing is a form of preparation. Any food that is minced is basically splitting into extremely fine and roughly equal formed units. Spices and herbs, as well as fruits, vegetables, and even meats can be minced. Wiki.com talks about the amount of time it takes mincing a fruit or vegetable. It talks about that when you're dealing with softer vegetables such as garlic, mincing is more quickly. But when you're dealing with vegetables such as potatoes, it takes a little bit more time because the material is tougher. Daily Mail talks about the different categories as to how to cut up vegetables. The vegetable is diced into thin uniform cubes, about half the size of chopped bits, about a quarter inch. Mincing, the vegetable is finely cut into 1/8 inch thick parts, and then when slicing onions, the onion should be sliced so finely that it becomes translucent. Now I am going to show you what the ending result of mincing should look like. This visual aid is coming from popsugar.com. So as you can see here, this is going to be the ending result, or it should at least be something very similar to after you're done with the technique and after the demonstration. It should look similar to this. If it's not, then you probably didn't do it quite right, or you probably didn't cut it thin enough. But this is the ending result that it should come out. Now I'm going to tell you the materials needed. You are going to need a kitchen knife, about so. You don't need a really big kitchen knife to do this because you don't want to cut yourself. Make sure that whatever kitchen knife you're using, that you're being safe and cautious and you're watching what you're doing, because the bigger the knife, the sharper the knife, the more of a chance that you have of hurting yourself. And we don't want that. You're going to also need an onion, of course, or not just an onion, but any fruit or vegetable of your choice, or meat. But today I'm going to be showing you how to mince an onion. So I would also try to look up, if you're trying to understand how to mince a specific fruit or vegetable, you should probably want to go and do some research, because there might be a different form of the technique that a person would use for specific things. Just like I said earlier, when it comes to tougher vegetables such as potatoes and stuff like that, you'll probably have to use a different method because it's a tougher material. But today we're going to be using onion, so you'll need onion. Also, what we will need is a cutting board. You will need a cutting board to do this technique on, so that you don't have to worry about anything cutting on you, or you cutting yourself, or ruining any type of material. So we'll need a cutting board, and we're going to need an onion, and we're going to need a knife. So let's position the camera so that you will be able to see what I am doing. First thing that you want to do when getting ready to prepare any type of food is wash your hands. So I am going to wash my hands, and you'll probably want to wash your hands for about 20 seconds. So wash your hands for about 20 seconds. Make sure that you're dealing with a clean environment, especially now. And you want to make sure that you have all your materials, hot and heavy. So what you'll want to do first is you'll want to cut the onion in half, like so. Make sure you're careful not to cut yourself. That's why I say you don't have to use a really big knife. Next thing you'll want to do is, you see how it's cut in half. So you'll want to take this the vegetable of your choice. Today we're using an onion, and you'll want to cut three rows like such. One about midway. You don't want to cut too deep because you don't want to cut we're not slicing the onion, so you don't want to break it off of its base. So you're gonna cut about midway. You don't want to cut it all the way down. And one more, 3, like so. Then you're gonna want to do it that same technique, but we're gonna go this way. And the more rows you cut, the finer your pieces are gonna come out. So you want to do it like that. Make sure you don't need to cut, and you don't need to cut as deep as you did when you were cutting the other rows, because we're just shedding off the top. So you just want to make sure, remember, like I said, the thinner the lines, the more finer your cuts are going to be when you're getting done. And you don't need to do the whole onion, because half of the onion is fine. So after you've done that, we're just going to, like so, cut it all the way down. Gonna cut it all the way down for however much you need for whatever dish you're trying to do. You'll cut as much as you need, because it'll last a little bit before you have to like redo it because the lining is lost. And you'll just want to keep shedding it down. Keep shedding it down like such. And once you've done that, boom, this is the finished project. Let me turn the camera around, and you have mincing right there. Quick and easy.